With there being so many different warframes to choose from, it can be hard deciding who you want to go for next. So today I thought I would compose a list of 5 frames that I think that everybody should own. Now, there is one thing I want to get out of the way, which is that this isn't going to be based off of how overpowered they are, other than I think 2 on this list, but they're just about how useful they will be to get you through the star chart. With that out of the way, let's begin. Up first, we have the Shadowcaster himself, Necros. Now, I'll be completely honest here, Necros is only on here for his 3rd ability, because it just makes the grind of the game so much easier, and that ability, of course, is Desecrate. Now, this ability allows you to make enemies drop twice as many resources, mods, and whatever it is you can make them drop. So, this will just make the game much easier to bear if you aren't really as into grindy games, and it will just make everything feel a lot nicer. Now, outside of Desecrate, there isn't really much else you can do with Necros other than build him for Shield of Shadows, but even then, there are just other characters in the game that do that much better than him. So with that, let's just move on. Up next is the Fire Queen herself, Ember. Now, Ember is on this list kind of for the same reason as Necros, which is why she's back here, and that's that you can build her very well for one specific ability, which is World on Fire. Now, World on Fire will pretty much kill any enemy within a certain radius, which you can make huge, and it also doesn't take much energy, especially if you're using efficiency mods. Now, there aren't really many other builds that you can use for Ember. If you have any ideas, put them in the comments, but the only one I really know is the World on Fire build, because it just makes the game so easy as you can just run through any mission with complete ease. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Frost. Now, the reason Frost is so useful is because he's one of the only frames in-game that can actually defend an objective. Now, there aren't that many defensive abilities in the game, like that actually put up shields, stuff like that. So it's very good to have one like this because of how useful it is. Now, of course, I'm talking about his Snow Globe ability, where you put a giant bubble around wherever you use the ability, and no projectile can pass into it, which is just amazing, because it makes him super useful on a bunch of different missions. Now, you can build him for other things other than just Snow Globe, because of course he has Avalanche, which is absolutely amazing. It will freeze any enemy in its location, and it will also deal a lot of damage. And then of course you have Ice Wave, which just freezes any enemy, and I think it allows you to deal even more damage onto them. And then you have your first ability, which is pretty much just throwing a snowball at an enemy to freeze them. So all in all, Frost has a great kit that is very defensive and powerful, so that's kind of why he's on this list. Sneaking his way onto this list, we have Loki. Now, all in all, Loki just has an absolutely amazing kit that will help any character in the game, end game, beginning, just anywhere you are, he is going to be super useful to you, because he can draw enemy fire with his decoy, he can turn invisible and assassinate anyone he really needs to, he can switch locations with a friend or an enemy, and then of course he can also use his radial disarm, which will completely disarm every enemy around you. Now, Loki also allows you to deal 100% crit chance whenever you're invisible, because I mean that's just how invisibility works in this game. But because of how his invisibility works, he doesn't become visible when he shoots, he's always invisible until time runs out, and it also doesn't require that much energy to use invisibility. So, all in all, Loki is just going to be one of those frames, I almost called him a hero, that will just allow you to breeze through the game and have a lot of fun, because he just has such an amazing kit that you're not really going to get that bored using him. So, pretty much that's it for Loki, so let's just move on to our final frame. Finally, we have the Master Swordsman himself, Excalibur. Now, Excalibur is of course one of the earliest frames you can get because you can choose to start with him of your 3 choices. Now, of course, if you're new, I definitely recommend getting Excalibur because he's amazing. His whole kit is super useful other than his first ability, which could use a little buff because all it does is kind of dash you through some enemies. Doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it can, I guess, work. But after that, his kit's amazing. From the ability to blind enemies, to the ability to throwing up javelins just through the ground to kill every enemy that's around you, to just pulling out a sword that will bypass any wall, go through everything on the map, and also go through enemies, dealing massive amounts of damage, allowing you to also use like Berserker so you can get increased attack speed, and also increased status chance with everything else that you can use because it's all based off of your melee weapon. Now, with the recent addition of Chromatic Blade, it's only made this weapon, like this ability, even better because now it can actually do elemental damage, with the ability of increasing 50% status chance, which is just amazing. So of course, if you don't have him already, get Excalibur. He is one of the best frames in the game. For end game, for beginning game, wherever you are in game, he's going to help you. So that's pretty much it for this list. If you do have any other frames you would like to see on this list, then do leave that below, because again, these aren't just the best frames. There are some up here that are obviously really good, like Excalibur, but these are just the frames that I think will help you guys the most as you traverse through the star chart. Now, of course, this can pretty much be filled up with any frame because they're all useful in their own regard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you found it useful, do drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, do subscribe. It's always helpful. And other than that, I hope you guys have a good day. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.